Oh, there we go. It started. Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Cory Thorell. I am a self-mastery coach, and I'm a master practitioner of lots of cool ways for people to find themselves in balance with their mind, body, and spirit. This is my weekly Superconscious Recode, and today I'm joined with two dear friends. Raphael and Jennifer are with us today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before we get started, Raphael, tell us where you're from.
I am originally from Mexico, but I am living in Edmonton, Canada.
Excellent. And Jennifer, where are you at?
Well, this lifetime, it's the third dimension, planet Earth, currently inhabited in Middle America.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Just
Well,
outside of Chicago, if that helps.
excellent, excellent. Well, listen, today I'm gonna go ahead and open our circle like I do every single week with the 4 agreements. And what I would like to do is I'm gonna read them. These 4 agreements are from the Circle Way, which is a way for us all to sit in a circle together, put a leader in every single chair, and harvest the wisdom in the room. And the 4 agreements are self-governance. It's not the 4 agreements from the famous book. This is a way for us to be together. And this is the first thing that I always do to open the bridge from where we were in our busy day into the sacred space that we create together. And so I'll read these 4 agreements, and I'll read them twice. And the first time you hear them is for your mind to understand, and the second time is for all of you to understand what we're doing together and how we are together. And here's the 4 agreements. We agree to hold all our stories or personal material in confidentiality. We agree to hold all our stories or personal material in confidentiality. We agree to listen to each other with compassion and curiosity. We agree to listen to each other with compassion and curiosity. We agree to ask for what we need and to offer what we can. We agree to ask for what we need and to offer what we can. And the last one is that we agree to watch our need, timing, and energy. And from time to time, we will pause to regather our thoughts and focus and meet the needs of the circle. One more time. We agree to watch our need, timing, and energy. And from time to time, we will pause to regather our thoughts and focus and meet the needs of the circle. And with that, our circle is open. In every single circle, I always open with what I call a little art and beauty. And today, Robin Sharma's book jumped off the shelf at me, and so I opened it up to December 11th. And so today's reading from Mr. Sharma. Cultivating great friendships is one of the surest ways to find more happiness and joy in your life. Recent studies show that those with a wide circle of friends and family live longer, laugh more, and worry less. But friendships, like all other good things in life, take time, energy, and commitment. To build deeper friendships, you must be willing to move out of your comfort zone, break the ice with people you may not know very well, and show sincere warmth. If you plant the seeds of friendship, you are bound to receive a rich harvest of great friends. Thank you, Mr. Robin Sharma. So with that, our circle is open today. And so in this world of Superconscious Recode, we're lucky enough today to have Raphael and Jennifer both trained in Superconscious Recode. They know what we're talking about. But today, I want to go off in a little bit different direction. I want to enter an idea, maybe plant a seed of what it is to create a safe space in your own mind, a safe space with your thoughts in the waking moment of the daydream right here, right now, a safe space in the daydream of imagination and creation of our highest self, our spirit mind, and also a safe space in the unconscious, which is often our body, our energy, the biochemical world of who we are. And that's mind, body, and spirit. But how do we create a safe space where all three sides, our mind, body, and spirit, our conscious, superconscious, and unconscious minds come together? So as I present this idea to you guys, Raphael and Jennifer, a safe space for the three consciousnesses to communicate, a safe space to be open enough to share information. You know, what sparks for you in your mind? What's popping in your heads about creating a safe space in this way? Does anything pop up for you guys? Anything to offer? Anything at all?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I was just thinking about my own work and certifications and how I love what you're doing and how you're creating this with intention and purpose, understanding that trauma is intrinsic to the human experience and how important it is for us to create and cultivate that a community that's aware of a safe space.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, calling in trauma. Thank you, Jennifer. Raphael, anything sparking for you?
Interestingly enough, for me, when you were saying it, and I don't know because I just came out from a meditation, that it is that really is just how to let go of the story. As simple as that, letting go of the story. And that for me, it is being safe in a safe environment to let go of the story.
Yeah. Let go of what story?
Of what we think that we are.
Uh-huh. And when we let go of all that we think that we are, what happens?
Then we realize that we are the creators of our own reality and that we have the
Yes.
power.
Yeah. Yeah. I love in the work of Chris Duncan, he talks about the predominant creator. When we arrive at the predominant creator, we do our work, we do the work of healing, the steps of healing, and we arrive at that place. We go through, in Chris's words, we go through the wizard's gate.
Wizard's Gate.
Yes. You know, where we sometimes we approach the gate and think, oh, look over there at all the people successful doing the things I wish I could do. And then we get yanked back and we go through the loop one more time. And then we go, there's the gate again. And look, there's still all those people doing all the things I wish I was doing. But my saboteurs, my self-worth, my what I think I deserve, the 7 sabotaging identities pop in, the tool that we use to understand why we do not have the things we want. And we invest in those stories. We invest our resources into the unstory or the shadow story. And we go through the loop again. Then all of a sudden we do some more healing and we do some more connecting and we do some more letting go. And we arrive at the wizard's gate one more time. And we realize that we were staring at the gate, realizing that the gate has always been open. Wow. The gate has always been open, but we were staring at the gate, locked outside. Right? I think there's something really sweet to know about that, you know? And like I said, if you guys are sparking with ideas or anything to share, please just jump in. Yeah, Jennifer.
So I think you both know I have a big love for Africa, for Kenya in particular. And in my time there, it was the most mysterious thing to me. There are these gates everywhere, and oftentimes they don't have anything connected to them. It's just a gate. They're all over the place in their most random villages, tribal areas. It's weird. Didn't make any sense. And you were talking about the Wizard's Gate. I never thought of it that way, about how we always have access to it. There's nothing around it blocking. There's no obstacle outside of ourselves. And I just saw so many gates from Kenya, like in my mind space, so many of them without any fence attached to them, some without just the structure of the gate, without the actual door to it. And I thought, oh my God, I've been the one blocking the gates the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. When we perceive the gate as closed to us, and we can see through the gate, you know, it's like, there's the people doing the things I wish I could do. You know, this brings in part of the story that I often tell is the story of comparison. You know, like if I'm comparing myself to somebody else, Often comparison comes with an essential lesson for our spiritual expansion. And like we've learned in Chris Duncan's work, The Human Journey, where we go on this journey, we use the self-sabotaging ideas, identities to explain, our conscious mind explains to our spirit why we don't have it all. Oh, they're successful in whichever way. They have the thing I don't have. Why don't I have it? I must be broken. Therefore, if I'm broken, I must fix myself first in order to achieve that over there. And so then that makes a lot of sense for us from our earliest thought as a child. Mom, we snip the umbilical cord. We went from having it all to having nothing. Then right then that problem-solving mindset turns on. Oh, if I cry, I get held. Or if I'm cute and I laugh, dad throws me in the air and giggles with me. Installing this problem-solving mindset. And off we go. Then our horny teenager years take that and run wild with comparison. Right? The cool people have the things I don't have. What must I do to fit in? What must I do to participate or be accepted, to belong, to be worthy, to be deserving? All of these things. But the beauty, like we learn in this work of the human journey, all of those things are not true, but they are essential to identify the gate, right? We loop and loop and loop around in our journey of being a spiritual being having a human experience. We come here to forget so that we can have the beauty of remembering. And I think that's what the Wizard's Gate is we remember that the gate has always been open. So there's a healing here. And sometimes this is where we need help. We can't see our own blind spots. We come into the circle, and, with a loved one or a trusted mentor, guide, or teacher, shaman, perhaps, plant medicine, perhaps, enlightenment, expansion tools of all sorts, to remember that we actually have what we need already inside of us. This is a phrase I use all the time. We are the medicine, and we are our best medicine. And our content, what we create for the world, is our best medicine as we give to the world. And so here we are in this healing journey where so many of us, especially in circles like this, the nature of the audiences that I attract are already self-aware to some degree. They're looking at their shadow stories. They're learning tools to heal even more so that they're ready to actually spend time on the other side of the Wizard's Gate. But just because we've arrived on the other side of the Wizard's Gate doesn't mean our work is done. Healing is not a destination. Healing's a choice, an attitude. It's a choice we make with every breath that we take. I want to stop right there. Let's pass the feather around. What's sparking for you in your own story, in your own personal journey? As Jennifer, the tender warrior, Raphael, the tender warrior. And warrior, I think, is important. Tender-hearted warrior. Because it takes tender to work your heart. It takes heart to understand warrior, and it takes warrior to be tender. Right? Where are you in this story so far today? What's happening on your own journey? Anybody care to share?
Yeah, I can share. For me, my journey is, even though right, that it's an illusion and that you're the creator of your reality. And you're still, like you said, right? You're still not there. It's like I have done the step in, but not fully. And even though you know that it is a game, and that that you're the creator of your reality, how it's not as easy just to let go. I mean, it sounds easy, right? To just drop it, let go of it, right? But I guess that's how the journey of this three-dimensional world that we really put ourselves before we come here to learn, right? That you have to go through certain things. So for me, it is like, well, if I am really destined to do this for a living, right? Because that's my passion. That's what it gives me the joy. It's like, why it's not that easy? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know all the things? Sounds nice, sounds good, but it is just to be able to really assimilate it, to really put it into not just learnings as, okay, I know that, now what? But it is just to really embrace it and being able to be vulnerable, I guess, to say, you know what, I'm in this path and I need help.
Yeah. Yeah. Asking for help. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Yeah. What a beautiful thing. Jennifer, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, a lot of it is. I think about the polarity and the duality and the unity. That is the goal, the unity. The polarity and the duality are the reality. It's how it's the structure of our physical experience here. And yet we are the creators. So, I keep moving through that cycle, like this loop, the polarity, the duality, aiming for the unity.
Yep.
Trying to move from the reality to being that predominant creator and landing solidly, moving through the gate of the unity, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you brought up the heart and the tender-hearted warrior, the images of duality there, and how it is that peaceful warrior, and you have to embody both. And it's the masculine and the feminine energies, the peace, the gentleness of the feminine energy, and the bravado and courage and action of the masculine, the warrior part. And I'm experiencing so much of that in my world, and like every single area capacity, like there's no escaping it. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
girl, it's time, you got to figure this out now. And I hear Yoda, there is no trying, only doing. So I'm doing that. I'm doing
Right.
that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. It's challenging. So thank you for shining a light on it, giving
Yeah.
voice to it.
Thanks for calling it out. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I love to think a lot about the tenderhearted warrior. That's a conversation. That's a metaphor. The story that comes up in my coaching, in my storytelling often, because it's a part of all of us, and it's one that's active in all of us. Because we hear other archetypes like the journey of the wounded warrior, these different things, the journey of the wounded entrepreneur, the wounded XYZ, whatever it is, the woundedness, we're wounded. Okay, all right, let's look at what that means. Because I think pain, the suffering, the discomfort is a fierce measure of our ability to love gigantically. Let me say that again. Our pain is a fierce measure of our ability to love gigantically. Because if we were not loving, we would have forgotten about it. If we didn't care gigantically, what hurts would not hurt. It would not even be in our awareness. There's something going on with our love, our passion, our desire, our connection to something important. And then we get wounded because there's something that matters that's out of balance. And when we don't have the tools or the support or the understanding, well, then that woundedness becomes a file in our filing cabinet. And what that mostly looks like is energy trapped in our bodies. We don't have the cognitive ability or the support or the understanding to deal with something that's visceral and real in our life today. So we put it in our body. this emotional filing cabinet, and it holds it. Our unconscious mind holds it until we get the skills, or the requirement to learn the skills becomes so heavy that we can't not anymore. All of a sudden it's more painful to learn. Sometimes if it's more painful to learn and change than to stay uncomfortable, we stay uncomfortable. Right? I know how to suffer, so I'm going to suffer some more. I know exactly how to suffer because I learned from the masters of my parents and my grandparents and the people in my communities and societies to suffer in this way. And I learned how so that I could belong and be a part of them and have my place at their table. But holy shit, my pain hurts. And so does theirs. One of my passions that I study is the indigenous rights, the cultural anthropology, the stories of humanity throughout all time and space. This is one of my favorite things to study, how humans are more alike than we're different. And everybody's pain hurts. And everybody's attraction is so amazing. And it's the language that we all share. And looking at the stories, the ancestor stories, the shamanism stories of doing ancestral healing, is that our ancestors who have crossed to the other side, who have died and left us, are on the other side supporting us, asking, will you be the one? Will you finally be the one that heals us all? I love that. There's something really beautiful in that. Anything sparking for you guys about that thought? Who we are as humans today?
Yeah, for me, is that like, to me, it totally resonates with me because studying ancestrology a little bit, it is how they pass the backpack, right? Saying like, I couldn't really finish this. And what I realized with my sister, that she's into all of this as well. Both my parents were both healers. And it's how, if you don't know, when I didn't realize, I thought, oh, it's up to me and up to my sister to do the healing for everyone.
Yeah.
Not knowing that once you dig in, you're opening the door and you're getting everything instead of like, what am I going there for? So that to me, that's what it came into mind. Like, I open a kind of worms kind of thing, right? Of like, yes, they want you to be the one in a way, but you always have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is the choice? What is that choice?
I don't feel like I have a choice. Do you feel like you have a choice?
I feel both of those things, like, because of my heart and my mission and my experience dealing with my own hurt and my shadows.
Mhm.
Of course, I do not have a choice. This is the only path.
Yeah, right.
But there's also a part of me that's still healing, that's still hurting, that's still figuring it out, that hasn't made that choice yet and doesn't know how, and wants to learn. There's that part of the part of me that's still healing. I've expanded this far, and in that expansion, I learned some tools and I released some energy, and I became ready to face the next challenge. And that next one is even bigger than the last one.
Mm.
But I've got the tools and I've got the understanding. And hopefully I have more discipline to actually do it than I've ever had before. And more importantly, I'm surrounded by people who understand, who are on a similar path as me. Whereas 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I didn't have those people. So that means I can take on a bigger challenge. I can do a deeper healing. I can work on a bigger pile of black bags or shadows and know that I'm on the right path. I can get scared and be brave at the same time. Yeah. So I love that we brought that out. It's like, yeah, we have a choice to not heal because we're not done suffering. But then we get done. And then there's no choice. Because once you know, you can't not know. There's some truth in that. In a big way. A really big way. You know. And so here let's wrap a circle around this. There's a tool I often use. It's the silver white rope. We pull that silver white rope out of our heart and we circle everything that we're talking about right now. We push it around. We make a sacred circle of these ideas, this healing, this wisdom, so that it's protected for us. And it's there for us. But now I want to install the challenge to say, okay, that wisdom is there. And it's in your pocket, and you always have access to it with all of your story and your heroes and your wisdom and your accomplishments. But now leave it behind you for a moment and take a step to the left. That high road to the left that goes up the hill through the gate into who you're becoming. And from that place, that stepping to the left, you can see the low right road. The low right road of looping into your suffering one more time because you know how, and you can see that you've looped 1,000 times already. And the path is well worn. And we do it because we get some dopamine and we get some serotonin and we get a bunch of brain chemicals and we get a little instant relief to suffer again because we know how. But here from the high left road, where we had to shed a layer to even open the gate, to realize the gate was open, we had to let something go. As we walk naked into the realm of the unknown, to the high left. As we go up a little higher, and we shed some more bullshit, we shed some more negativity, we shed some fears and old habits, making room for the expansion that we're in. Saying that radical yes to who we're becoming, even though we don't know what it is, but we know that it feels better. And we trust it. Then we take another step to the left up the hill. And then we go into the forest where we cannot see very far in front of us, but here we are in this new path up to the left. We go a little bit further into who we're becoming and we rise up. And now the smell is different. The nature, the vitality of Mother Earth, the wood and the water and the air. All right there. We go a little bit further up into the left and we come into a clearing. And this clearing of this meadow of wildflowers, that relief, the reward of having climbed the hill, all of the flowers blooming just for you with their essence, their sugar, their color, and their pollen. And as we cross the field of flowers with the fragrance, the perfume, the beauty, the warmth, the sunshine, we make it to the other side of the field of flowers. And as we rise up, there's an old wooden gate, another gate, this one with a broken hinge. And you reach into your satchel for the tool needed and you tighten the hinge. And you make sure the gate works well. And you step through the gate and close it behind you and you are in your own sacred garden. The garden you've been to 1,000 times this week in your spirit world, in your dreams. And you reach into your satchel and you plant the seeds you just brought, the new inspiration, the ideas of who you are, the next learning, the next wisdom, and you plant the seeds in your cosmic garden. And you water them. And then you take one step further. And there's the seeds you planted last time sprouting. The ideas, the learnings already growing, taking shape. And you take a few more steps to the next bed, and there's the seeds planted, sprouting flowers, becoming who they are, bearing fruit. And then one garden beyond that is, the bounty, and you load your satchel with the abundance of the things you planted in times gone by that are now finally ready. And you load your satchel with the new medicine and the new tools, the new wisdoms, the new teachings. And you go out the gate on the other side of the garden with your satchel full. And you cross the yard, and there's this humongous, gigantic, beautiful tree. It is the biggest tree and the oldest tree, and it is your tree. It is the tree of your life. It is the tree of you. And as you approach the tree and you come up and you feel the deep crevices in the bark around the tree, and you walk clockwise around the tree with your fingers dancing on the bark, which is your cosmic key. And as you make it all the way around 360 degrees, the magical spell turns the key in the lock and the door appears. And it is that beautiful door, the split door where you can open the top half or just the bottom half or both. And it's the door to your cosmic self. And you step in to where you are, who you are, your creation station, the all of you. And there's the living room with your most amazing, comfortable chair and your things, your favorite cherished items, your treasures that you've collected out of all of your lifetimes. They're here. And you open the window to let some new air in and let some light come in, pouring in. And off to the left is your kitchen, your apothecary, where your sacred herbs and tinctures and collections and ointments and spells that you've collected over lifetimes are there for you. And you put the kettle on and you unload your satchel on the table and you dig deep into your satchel and you pull the new ointments and the new medicines recently acquired to fill your shelves. And as you step away, waiting for the kettle to boil, you step back out into the front room. And there across the room is a door, this beautiful, old, beautiful door. When you go in, you open the door, and it is your library. It is your sacred, sacred library. And there's a desk right in the middle, and there's a bookcase to the right, and there's a bookcase to the left, and they are different. And the stories to the right are all of the stories of who you've been, all of your history, all versions of you. And you reach into your satchel and you pull out the finished journal, the finished new book of this chapter, completed, closed, and ready. And you find its next spot, right there at the end. This next addition to your history goes there, completed and finished. And then you reach to the left, which is all blank books, and you choose the next blank book. And you refill your inkwell and your quill, and you put the new journal, the blank, in your satchel, ready for your next journey. And you come back out, and your tea is magically ready. And you have some tea, and it's the tea, the most amazing tea, the one you always have when you come home. There's nothing like it anywhere else. And you feel your soul, and you feel your artistry, and you feel your wisdom, and you feel your faith, and you feel your dreams, for they are ready to be filled. This is why we've come home. And with your tea, you step across the room, and there's this beautiful desk up against a window looking out in this amazing window. As you look out into all creation up this window, your creation station, your design center. And from here is where you are the architect of your dreams to come. And with that new satchel and that new book, with your rulers and your compasses and your design tools and your paint and your color and your dreams and your imagination, you empower the new journal with all of your imagination and creation and intuition, for you will need these things upon your return. And you're filling your well. And you're filling the 500 buckets outside your well, so that those are the ones you will give away, keeping yours full 100% of the time. Now your tea is finished. And you reach into your satchel, and there's the new nugget, the new learning, the new trophy that you put on the trophy shelf of your recent learnings, your recent achievements. And you put it there with all of your other proud moments. And then you look around and you know that you came home because you needed a tool that you didn't have. And it's a tool that you're finally ready for. And it's been there waiting for you this time. And you go to your magic box, and there it is, glowing. The tool needed for the next step, the next journey, the next mission. And it fits perfectly into your satchel. And your well is full, and your energy is bright, and home feels good. It is safe and secure and always there for you. And as you pack your satchel with a few more needed things and you leave a few more gifts for next time, you prepare to leave the tree of your life. And you close it down and make it ready and safe. And you leave the tree and close the door and maybe dust a few things and wipe a counter or two. Maybe leave a surprise for yourself for next time, the next time that you're here. Thank you, self, for reminding me to supercharge that part of me. And you close the door. And with your fingers on the bark of the tree going around counterclockwise, you secure your tree and hide the door. And on your way back across the garden to the gate of your garden, as you enter the garden, the old gnome with his beard to his toes says, there you are. I thought I heard you home. How are you? I have a gift for you. Your garden has made the tea, and it has made the treat, and it has made the preserves from my garden to yours. Put this in your satchel. You will need these treats too. And he says, and I see that you fixed the old hinge on the other gate. Thank you. I meant to get to that. I love you. I'll see you soon. And out the gate you go, dancing at dusk across the meadow of flowers, blooming just for you. Colors are different now. You come through the forest with the smell of water and wood and air. And you travel back down, all the way back down into this world here today, with your tools filled, your well full, your wisdom's protected, and your dreaming enhanced. And in your time, come back. Slowly float back down into who you are, into this moment here in the room with me today. How you doing? Hi, welcome back. Yeah, welcome home. Welcome home, everybody. How are you?
Still landing.
Yeah, still there a little bit.
Good. I know I took you on a surprise journey, thank you for being willing to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I opened our conversation today with being curious about a safe space. And I think there's no safer space than the tree of our own life. So I wanted to play with that idea a little bit today. A place that we can journey to and return to, and bring our gifts and wisdoms to, and refill our well, and remember who we are, and supercharge our imagination, our intuition, and our creation, so that we can come back here ready to do the work that we're being asked to do. So that's a meditation that I've been working on and teaching now for a couple of years. And I love that it pops in. It just shows up. Like when I was getting ready for today, that was not on my list.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What did you learn? What did you learn? I know I sprung that on you as a surprise, and neither of you have done that with me before.
Yeah, I had this realization that there was a lot, not sorrow, but comes out, tears are the pressure valve of the heart, so it comes out that way for me. And um I had this massive realization, like, oh, I do have a garden. I do have a garden. There's another side of the gate. There's, like, I didn't feel like I had access to. And um it wasn't just a garden, it was this massive property that I couldn't even see the boundaries of. It was the expanse of all that is divinely mine, my portion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can access it.
Mhm.
And for me, that it's always been there. And it's a way of like a realization of that it's always been there.
Hmm.
It's almost like when you come home and you feel like this is home. And the way how he was talking, kind of like, finally, you're home
Mhm.
and you're welcome here.
Yep.
So it felt very, if like when you feel the love of someone that is hugging you and you feel that unconditional love, that's how it felt for me. So
Yeah.
thank you.
What do you think why did I have the broken hinge that was repaired?
Because we're not broken. That part.
Could be.
I
Could
think
be.
to speak to the unconscious mind that we have everything we need, and anything we come across, any obstacle,
Mhm.
that we have the tools we need, and B, it's teaching us future pacing to set ourselves up for success
Mhm.
at each step of along the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about your satchel?
Well, that's
The
our
powers
tool.
that we have.
Yeah.
The what?
All our powers, says it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Coming home with gifts and taking things you need for the next trip, repacking again.
Mhm.
Yeah. The library. Mhm. Yeah.
I'm curious about the library. I'm curious why the empty blank slate was to the left.
Yeah,
And
I was thinking the same thing. To
Mhm.
me, for some reason, I wanted to switch them around.
I did too.
You can. Yeah. I
Because
find
to
it
me,
interesting. There's a lot of indigenous stories
Uh-huh.
talk about the low right road and the high left road, kind of like what I talked about today. But like with Arthur's work, he teaches it in reverse. The same metaphor, he teaches it in reverse. So I think it's probably cultural,
Cultural. Okay.
indigenous, but in my history of cultural anthropology and folklore, I find more often the low right road is the repeating suffering. And the high left road is when we do our shedding, our threshing. Do you know the term threshing?
no,
You
I
know,
don't.
threshing like is mostly known in the world of wheat. Like
Agriculture.
harvest wheat, you take the hard kernel off, the shell off, so that we can access the nugget. So threshing the wheat takes the shell, the protective layer off. Every doorway has a threshold. The bottom board is called a threshold. And so in storytelling and metaphor, when we do our threshing, we can't go through the gate unless we shed the layer that no longer serves us. The gate won't open unless we put down what no longer serves us. We have to do our letting go so that we can walk naked into the realm of the unknown. We can't climb the hill with a load that is too heavy. So there's a lot of the stories. So if right or left switches in your world, that's fine. You know. But I
But
find
that's interesting. Sorry, that's interesting, Jennifer. If you don't mind sharing why you wanted to change, like because for me it was the same thing.
Sure. I when I look in my mind space, when I'm considering um future, not creations I'm making, it's more forward
The right hand side.
toward the right, kind of like north um east-ish direction, which would
like
be
timeline way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just it was a good exercise for me because I've been challenged recently in we all understand the land of plenty, and I've been challenged in that whole conceptually, and so you beautifully revisited or allowed me to revisit that in a brand new way, and in a way that was conducive and felt comfortable to my psyche, and really resonated with the nature and the Hobbit Earthship house in the tree. I had a whole thing going on there. I was writing novels.
Good.
Yeah, in the library. I mean, nailed it in the tea, and I mean everything. I felt like you were tapped right into me, and that's a gift. So thank you for that. And it was interesting to be able to observe, first of all, what's going on while you're in that space and allow yourself to do both. I was also I was observing myself. It was like, oh, okay, good job, girl. Keep going, but seeing that I was warring within and wanting to, just a lot of different parts coming up. The protector controller. Well, this is a safe space. It's fine. Just go with it. Just flow with it. But no, some of the Virgo archetype showing up there, like, but it's out of order, and all these things going on simultaneously, and how cool it was to be able to see it all and hear your explanation afterwards, understanding that subconsciously, collectively in the field, we have all of those stories epigenetically. We have all the shamanism, and how modern times have it's new programming. You mentioned Arthur's teaching and his framework around it, and we're all familiar with Chris's teaching and countless others, right? And how it is more toward the right, and culturally that's where we're at, but ancestrally we have all of that in there too. So it was fascinating to put that piece of the puzzle into the rest of it, and I'll process it for a while still, like, looking at it like, wow, there was a lot going on there in all the layers of consciousness. And when they all kind of, when the wheat and the chaff are settled, speaking of the threshing floor,
Right.
it'll be interesting to see what remains.
Right. Yeah. I love designing that meditation with known metaphors. And every time that I tell it, Spirit says, like sometimes we have to hang out in the forest for a while. Which is where we can put down and give a place for some of those shadow stories. And when I do that, when we come home again, we pick them up again. Because we're not done with them. There's a reason we're carrying them. If they made it through the gate up the hill, you're not done. But the forest is a place to say, this is where it lives. So that you can go into the flower meadows of who you are. Then you can arrive in your garden, you can arrive in your tree, knowing that that's all part of your landscape. Depending on the energy in the room, I'll tell the story a little bit differently. And like the metaphor of the flowers too, is like there's that sweet relief, the morning dawn, the sun came up again, I'm home. Sometimes that's where I need to spend some time, depending on the energy of the room. Sometimes it's in the garden itself. Like sometimes the garden has been forgotten. And we need to till up some weeds and make room for that first seed. I'm working with a bunch of trauma people who've been really have not dreamt about the daydream at all.
Mm.
We're going to spend some time in the garden. And before that, before we even leave, I'm going to make sure that the satchel has seeds in it before we even go through the gate. Right?
Yeah, that's awesome, Cory.
Yeah. And then once we get inside the tree, like there's 4 unique places for me that are important. It's the living room where we're comfortable. We can also receive guests there.
Oh,
like super conscious work.
yeah.
Like I do okay, we're going to invite super conscious and anger or money, or your grandmother or your lover, or we can do the conversation work in your safe space.
Mm.
But then there's your apothecary, your kitchen, which is my favorite place to pray. Because you're casting spells, you're making the tea, your sustenance, your magic, your tinctures. Then there's the library, but then there's the creation station where you look out into space and dream and imagine and in your intuition. So depending on what's going on, I'll take a client back to the tree of their life 10 times in a row. And we'll do different work when we're there. Depending on what's going on.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and then we slowly come back with the new tools and the well full to today with your satchel. You never leave home without. Right. So there's just a little bit of that explanation about why I've designed that way. And please play with it. Please, if this is sparking for you and you want to play with this, by all means.
I'm curious, my friend, how much thought, because there's a lot of brilliance in there, and I know you're trauma informed as well. And I'm curious how much you've done behind the scenes with the understanding of the different construction of the masculine brain versus the feminine brain, and the ways that we've been programmed. So what you did there was you did a brilliant, as you were explaining, when you stop in the forest, if there's shadow, or how you were breaking that down, I thought, oh, you just compartmentalized everything so brilliantly. While you were addressing the feminine with the flowers and the scents and the smells. So you had both there, because it's difficult for many women to do that level of to compartmentalize it all. And that was just some brilliant work there. And I'm curious if that was done with intention or just very intrinsically for you, being you.
Well, I'm sure it's both. But definitely working with my own masculine and feminine. My divine feminine has been in overdrive for about 15 years. Because I'm a tender boy. I'm a gay man, and here I am in Salt Lake City, Mormon world, and it's just like, wow, how do I manipulate this? And then I look at the divine masculinity that is so out of balance right now.
Yeah.
Like I just started a men's group because of that, and it's because of the roles that were handed to our masculine brothers are not working for them. And as a gay man who never came out of the closet, because I never went in, luckily, I went through my midlife crisis when I was about 8 or 9 years old, because I went, I'm not going to, all those roles that are handed to men work for a while. The hero, the sports hero, the jock, the man, the winner, the champion, the provider, the strength, all of that works for a while, especially when we're young and resilient. But then it doesn't work anymore. And especially now, how can you provide for a family in this economy with life now, with the money, the world that we're in now? There's gigantic failure issues going on with our brothers right now, and they don't have the tools or the good examples from their parents about how to be emotional or how to ask for the help that they need.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to interrupt you because it's important to not to interrupt, but to speak into this, how important it is that the masculine is showing up for the masculine. And I have been having that conversation with Raphael for a long time too. Like, it's important, guys. You need to be showing up not just for yourselves, but for the rest of the men and therefore the women. Like, it's super important. We are lacking in men who have integrity and can do this work without getting caught up in the, oh, you're giving me attention, or oh, look at you. Like, stay in your lane and do the healing work. Do your own first so that you can have high integrity. This work calls for the utmost integrity. And in order to reach that, we got to deal with our own stuff first. So thank you, both of you. Thank you on behalf of the collective, all genders and identities. Thank you.
Well, I've been hesitant to start a men's group for a while. I knew it was in my wheelhouse, but I was waiting for the right magic, and it showed up right now, and it's powerful. Our next meeting, our second meeting is tomorrow night, and I've got some really amazing people.
Are you doing live in-person stuff? Yeah.
No, on Zoom. It's on Zoom. Yeah.
That's interesting, Cory, because something that I've been talking to Jennifer, and that it was proposed to me in the spiritual world. Like, I realized that I'm more comfortable with my feminine side, and I realized that I'm not comfortable in my masculine side, or like there's been some kind of resistance of starting a group with men. Right.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that part that, like, okay, I feel more into my feminine side, right? I grew up with two sisters and so on. And my part of the niche is women, because women are the ones that are more interested in this kind of work and stuff. But then I realized that I feel more confident with my feminine side.
Yeah.
But men also deserve to be heard, right? And so, yeah, I'm curious to see how that works. Because for me, it's like, I don't know how to start a men's circle, right?
You should come join us tomorrow. Yeah, if that feels right, come join us. Yeah. But when I started this, I was feeling it very much the same way. Like, I'm not quite sure where to go. I'm looking at all these super straight, macho, burly men who are needing a men's group. They're asking for it, and their women are asking me to lead it for them, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And they said, and we can't even tell them that we're asking you to do that because that will trigger them. And then I was like, oh, I totally understand, but I'm not sure how to navigate that myself. And I think a big part of that, Raphael, for me, especially with so much healing I've done in the last couple of years, I've done a lot of ayahuasca. I've done a lot of big shamanism. And I really drew a clear line between gendered roles and non-gendered roles with masculinity and femininity. When we take gender out of it, and if we go back to what the indigenous wisdom of everything is masculine and feminine, and everything starts out in the feminine as an idea, in creation, as imagination and intuition. And if we're going to use the metaphor of a seed in a garden, that seed is still feminine. It goes into the ground and we water it. It's the nursery. We take care of it and it sprouts and it grows its first leaf. And now we're in the middle. But when it starts to flower and fruit, it has an identity. It's now taken its role. It's now serving its mission of why it's here. It's identified its purpose, and its energy changes to masculine because now there's fruit and there's seeds. It's in balance, right? Everything goes through this process. If we can take gendered roles and sexuality and weirdness around sex and relationships and all of that out of the story of masculinity and femininity, well, now we have some tools that we all work. We're now working the tools that we all have. And we're going to do it clearly. And when we have that understanding, then we can say, okay, now I understand that piece, that we're all the same in this way. And now we can say, okay, well, now I'm going to look at men and women. And now we're going to look at sex roles and sexuality and attraction and what it is when two energies come together and bond so strongly in their sexual attraction that now they're together strong enough to do the work they came together to do. It starts in sexual attraction so that we bond, so that we can do the work we came to do, to fulfill our contracts. And so with some of that understanding, all of a sudden we have the tools to stand up in the middle of it all and to give the confusion permission to settle. And that's where I'm at now with so much of this. It's not about me. I'm just here to put a hand out. Do you know Lisa Nichols? She's a famous motivational speaker and hero and coach. And she's this fabulous Black lady, and she tells a story of her own.
Awesome.
She's awesome. And her metaphor is I climbed out of my story and I stand on top of my story and I'm putting my hand out for the next one who's ready. How beautiful is that? Because that doesn't mean we're done. Because as you grab my hand, I'm going to grab yours, because we're going to teach each other.
Mm-hmm. Love you both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, as we begin to close our circle today, what I like to do is just take a second and let's call out, the powerful words or the ahas or the learnings or what's obvious now or what's possible now because of our time today. What's different? What did you learn?
Permission.
I learned that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go for it, Raphael.
Yeah, I learned that we're not alone, and ask for help really doesn't make you weak.
Oh.
Yeah. To be able, I see myself in you. I perceiving your energy is just beautiful, and I want to honor you. And I see you, brother.
Thanks, man. It takes us all, doesn't it? Thanks, man. Yeah. Jennifer, pass the feather to you.
Yeah, permission somehow is the overarching energy and theme. And I'm a little slower to process sometimes, and there's a lot going on. So I'm going to go with permission and let that settle in and understand what it is. I think it's, yeah, I guess I needed to have permission to grant myself permission to receive the permission. It's really the unity. It's the blending of the duality, right? The permission granter feeling very much as the masculine, and the permission receiver. Oh, it's okay for me to do this. Yeah, you can do this. Here, go do this. The masculine action, and the feminine receiver waiting, feeling the need to be protected, and all the things, and giving myself permission while receiving the permission is like a unification, a balance of the polarity and the duality within me. Yeah. It's coming up a lot lately.
I love that. Seems like we could do a whole session on the layers of permission.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You're going to be one of my favorite guests, Cory, when I get my podcast. When I get to that step, we're going to have great conversations.
Maybe I'll put an invitation out for you guys to be a guest on mine.
Oh, I forgot you're doing that. Yeah. Forgot.
Nice.
Yeah, my podcast is called Fear to Freedom, One Story at a Time.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you met Damien.
Yes. I heard you had him on. I haven't had a chance to listen yet.
He was
Yeah.
ex-policeman in Sydney turned spiritual guide. What a cool story.
Right? Man, he
That
wrote
is
a good
awesome.
story.
Yeah, absolutely. So if that's sparking interest for you guys, reach out to me. We'll have a chat about that. I would love to have you.
Oh, yeah,
All
anytime.
right. Well, as we close our circle today, as the feather comes back to me, one of my ahas today is the phrase, we don't have to. We don't have to do anything. We can just stay sitting right there. But we certainly get to. And this is one of the things that with learning NLP years ago and working language, appreciating poetry, and after 35 years of big show business telling stories for a living, the power of words matters and how we use them matters. And so often I have to, oh my gosh, I have to do the thing. I have to get the job done. I have to do the marketing. I have to do the job. I have to. When you compare the things you really love that are on your have to list to all the bullshit that's also on your have to list, it seems like a really good thing to separate them, because the have to's never get done, but the I get to's always get done. Remember being a teenager when your favorite band was coming and you didn't have any money, but you were going to be at that concert, and by God, you were. When we say the radical yes, it's because we get to. I mean, just think about the energy of a have to versus I get to. One simple change of words goes very far. So I think I'm going to finish up. That's my last thought with us for today. Yeah.
And great way.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Mic drop. Boom. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I just want to thank you both for coming and spending your Wednesday afternoon with me. Please come again. Please tell some friends. And if so inspired, I'd love a little bit of comment on some Facebook posts as you see some of these go out to the world. Let's get some more friends in here to do this with us, shall we?
Absolutely happy to support the mission, my friends.
And if I can be of service to you, by all means, let's spend some time together. We'll always be more powerful together than we'll ever be standing alone. And that's why I'm here.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Raphael. Everybody out there who might be catching this, I'm Cory Thorell. I am a self-coach, a self-mastery coach, working with things like hypnotherapy and timeline therapy and superconscious recode and emotional freedom technique and all these different things that we use to treat the initial symptom so that we can expand just enough to understand that we can actually remove the root cause of the problem itself. And when we do that, we remove those things out of the way, we create a freedom to design the life that we truly love so that we can make the rest of life the best of life. I'm Cory Thorell. Thanks for being here, you guys. This is the Superconscious Weekly Recode, and hopefully we'll see you back in the circles next week. I love you guys.
Love you. Bye for now.
Thank you for being here.